This is a demonstration of how the GSBM20 shape machine should be set up for installation and operation. The machine is often set up near a wall so that the spray goes towards the wall and is usually set up in an area where there's containment. This machine is not necessarily set up that way because it's a demonstration machine. It's a warehouse machine. So it's not used very often and therefore not set up in an ideal manner. But once the machine is positioned on the floor, then connections can be made to the machine. Power has to go to the machine, compressed air, and a vacuum pump to create suction has to be set up as well. So first we have an electrical disconnect that your electrician can set up and install. A wire from the disconnect will go up into the control panel, and this is the main control panel. We have it in the off position right here. If I open the control panel, you see the wire coming in, the main power, and it will install up here in this area here. This is where the power wires come in to this switch. There's some fuses here, a 24 volt transformer here that powers the low voltage controls here, which run the spindle and the drive motor for the turntable. Now I'm not sure which one drives which, and they have some overload protection down here for each motor, and that's basically the control panel. The other thing is that this motor contactor here is for the vacuum pump, which operates off of this switch up here, right here. So this switch turns the vacuum pump on, and that gives power to the vacuum pump, which is right down here. And you can see that this wire here from the vacuum pump comes up here into the control panel here and connects to this motor contactor. That gives power to the vacuum through this switch. The vacuum pump is used, and you can see the way the vacuum pump's connected. You'll have to make sure that there's an orange air hose that connects the actual pump to the tank, and then from the tank there's a pressure gauge here. The tank, it runs to the base of the machine in this side here and through this valve switch, and then this connects up here to the turntable. So this, when the vacuum pump is on, and it's actually turned on, the vacuum pump will run. You can hear it running. And you can see that right now the gauge is going, but you're not actually generating any vacuum because the vacuum would generate this way, because the system actually right now, when you turn the switch on, you see you're trying to generate vacuum, but you can't because these cups need to be able to draw vacuum, and they're not sealed. So this is how we generate vacuum on the table. You need to get compressed air from the factory line. Here's how we've connected it. And that compressed air runs into this air regulator, and you need to make sure you've got some air coming through the line. There's a line that comes out this end of the air regulator. Compressed air from the air compressor connects to the machine through this orange hose, and it connects into this valve right here near the head of the machine. The valve has a switch that can be toggled one way or the other, and it has two hoses that exit. One hose feeds in to one end of the cylinder, and the other hose feeds into the other end of the cylinder. The cylinder, to pull the arm in, it'll pull the machine in, or push the arm out by air. I will show you. One of the hoses connects here. This fitting has to be installed during installation. The other hose connects here, and this all has to be attached as shown. And you can toggle out or toggle in. Out, in, with this valve right here. See how it can go out and in. So that will pull the arm in automatically. I'm holding it, and that'll pull it in towards a circle if you want to do circles in automatic mode. Now I'm going to turn the air compressor right off so that that cylinder is not creating any workload, so that now I can move the arm in and out freely, and this is how I control it for manual mode. Other connections include the wires coming from the power supply, and in this case you can run them along the floor, or we've chosen to run them up the wall, and we've made a custom bracket, metal bracket, that extends out roughly over the center and drops straight over the center of the platter. So you've got two power supplies coming in here that connect to the machine here, and these two power supplies drive, one of them drives the motor for the spindle, and the other one drives the motor, comes down through the machine and drives the motor in the base of the machine. I don't know if it's in here. Yeah, right there. So it drives that motor. Now that motor drives the turntable. So you can control the turntable speed, and you can increase the speed by turning it clockwise and decrease the speed by turning it counterclockwise. This drive should only be turned when there's power to the machine and the table has been activated. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. So we have power coming to the machine because our master power switch is on, and I've released the emergency stop, which prevents the machine from operating. To release it, you just turn it and it'll pop up on its own. It's spring loaded. Don't pull on it. Once you've got power to the machine, then the working table should turn from the drive motor in the base of the machine. To turn the turntable in standard mode, simply turn the switch, make sure the power's on, and turn the switch in one way or the other. Right now it's turning clockwise. I can stop it and turn it counterclockwise. It's turning counterclockwise. The machine normally operates in a clockwise manner, so that you will be working the glass this way, the edge will be coming towards you, and you'll be working against it. To adjust the speed of the turntable, simply come around to the base, make sure the cover's off, and while the table is turning, you can increase the speed and it'll go faster, or you can decrease the speed counterclockwise and it will go slower, and it will turn slower. It's recommended that the table turn very slow while you're doing shape edging. After having adjusted the speed for the motor, put the cover back on. The water connection connects through this hose to this valve. It's shut off here, and then it can be turned on and opened once water's flowing from the main valve. This hose goes back up through here, comes out the top, is tie wrapped to the electrical cable, which runs back up over the center of the machine, across to this bracket above the wall. Our main water supply is here. If you turn the water on, you open the water, then you come to this valve here, and you open it. You will get water coming out the hose, which can be adjusted. You shut it off with this valve. You can determine how much water to come out, a little bit or a lot. You'll control it with this valve, and then you should have a master shut off on the wall when you're not using the machine. This concludes our setup portion of the demonstration.